intentional foul. First free throw is good, and that gives him a 4-point cushion. So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 5-point game.
He's able to make it a 2-possession game with some solid work at the line right there.
And so it's Mitch Johnson here calling timeout. He's decided it's time to clarify the situation, leaving little room for error. Oh, money!
And his coaches will be the first to tell you, Vassell wants the ball in these situations. He's not afraid of the challenge. Yeah, just trying to keep this game alive. Not a bad foul right there.
And so he drops them both, and it's a 5-point game. Fantastic ball movement for them tonight.
If things are definitely working offensively, a balanced attack is just so much harder to defend.
And that's an intentional foul.
Castle, 4th personal foul. 15 foul.
And he cannot get the first one to drop. Tough one to miss. That's good. Going 1 of 2 from the line. And that increases the lead to 6. Here's McLaughlin. DiVincenzo covering. Let's loose for 3. Yes, sir, with the 3.
This is when you need a defensive presence, but it's just not happening.
It seems to me a lack of effort and a lack of communication, and it's happening to both sides here late in the game.
He drops the first one, and that gives him a 4-point cushion. And he cannot convert on the second. That misses. And so it's Minnesota who scrapes by with a win. And they barely squeezed out the win here on the road.
And B.A., the visiting team is always under some added pressure, but they made it work and got the win, whatever the margin may have been.
And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. For Doris Burke, Allie LaForce, and Grant Hill, and our entire crew, this is Brian Anderson thanking you for tuning in. And we present the player of the game, Anthony Edwards.
Up next, the Timberwolves taking on the Jazz. For Minnesota, their clear Craig, in the middle of a season like this, what possible road bumps could teams run into?
Well, I think it's important that players not fall into that trap of looking too far ahead, right? This is when it's important for a team to stay focused and be in the moment. These are the dog days of the season.
And checking out Minnesota's opening lineup. Top of the forward, it'll be McDaniels and Randall. Guard and off guard, filled by DiVincenzo and Edwards. And it's Gobert in its center. Bailey with a wide open look. Tried to come right back with the three of his own, but it's no good. DiVincenzo passes to Randall, and again Minnesota with the triple.
Well, hey, Randall possesses this kind of range. The defense has to at least honor a shot.
Pass to Jackson. Now Bailey lets it go with a three, and rebounded by McDaniels. There's always a need for shot makers in the NBA, GA, and that's what Ace Bailey brings to the fore.
Yeah, Bailey has a smooth jumper with a high release point that allows him to shoot over just about any defender. And when you pair that with his physical tools, his upside is through the roof.
Here's Bailey. Edwards defending. 6 to shoot. Jackson from long range. That one's in, his first shot this game.
Yeah, and when you're hit, you gotta hit back.
A bit of a duel going on between them. Came down the floor looking for immediate payback.
DiVincenzo kicks to Edwards. And again, Minnesota with the triple.
Yeah, this looks like a pregame shoot-around with all the threes they're allowing.
Outside Jackson. Pass to Markkanen. To the paint. Here's Filipowski. And a beautiful feed leads to a monster jam.
Well, he led him with the pass there, almost like a quarterback timing a route. That was impressive.
Randall down low. Jackson on him. Here's the three. And the Timberwolves hit again from deep.
And really setting the tone early with their three-point shooting.
And let's go to the sideline. Here's Allen.
I had a chance to catch up with the Jazz head coach. His team is facing off with the Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. As far as how they plan to defend him, coach said it'll be a team effort. They plan to rotate who has him defensively, and coach's words were, Ant is so special. You have to guard him with the numbers. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, Allie, thanks. Timeout is called. First of the game for the Jazz. Let's see the stat sheet here for Lauri Markkanen. Here's George. He's been putting up the points on a very steady basis, averaging around 17.5 points a game. And maybe more than any team in the West, GA, the Jazz, really committing to the rebuild.
Well, in the West, it seems like you got 13 or 14 teams all trying to win now, and it just doesn't work that way. So it's not just about talent, it's also about timing. And nice touch inside. George can finish from all three levels.
Here's Edwards. Got it for his fourth field goal of the game on just 5 shots.
Well, his offense is carrying them right now. And even with the defense keying on him, he's making great adjustments on the fly.
Pass to Sensabaugh. Kessler the screen. Here's Collier. Here's Sensabaugh. No good on the three. So the Jazz, their last game, a loss to the Spurs. Here's Edwards. And he makes good on the layup. Edwards got 12 points in the game.
And the story here, Kevin, early on is how well they've shot the basketball.
Pass to Jackson. 35 seconds left in the first. Misses the layup. Timberwolves leading by 10. A nice shot by McDaniel.
And you can't help but pick their defense apart. They're completely in disarray.
To the inside. Here's Jackson. 2 points. That one goes. And 5 points in the game.
Yes, we know Jackson can nail threes, but at his core, he's a guy who wants the ball around the rim.
It's all been by Sensible.
And priority number one has got to be the finish, guys, not the fancy stuff.
Jackson, a screen on McDaniel. And so it's the Minnesota Timberwolves going into the break with a 10-point lead. And the three-point shot has been big for them. And we've got more M2K Sports coming your way. And so far through one quarter, it's been a lopsided game. We'll see if that changes here in the second. All right, well, look at how the points have been generated so far. Scoring breakdown for the Timberwolves.
Well, the coaching staff's game plan is very clear. Move the ball on the perimeter and shoot the shots with no hesitation.
And also have to bring up their passing game. They've been moving the ball with great precision so far and creating great looks for their teammates.
On the court for the Timberwolves as our second quarter is underway. Guard and off guard, filled by DiVincenzo and Edwards. Up at the forward, it'll be McDaniels and Randall. And it's Gobert in at the 5. The Jazz shooting their first free throws of the game on this trip to the line.
And team free throw numbers really about as good as you could ask for. Around 80% on the season.
And the first one drops. And Greg is a former point guard in this league. Give us your top floor generals of all time. The guys that could direct the floor and could control a game.
Wow. If we're talking traditional point guards, I mean, I got to go Magic, Isaiah, CP.
Oh, my goodness. That is an outstanding finish.
Oh, my.
Yeah, Edwards has some big bounce in his step.
Kessler, a screen on Edwards. Pass to Kessler. Not loose. It's stolen by Edwards. Randall dishes to Edwards. That's in. Coming off an assist from Randall. Randall's got his third assist on the night. Utah calls timeout.
And looking now at some numbers here for Randall. How his last 10 games have gone. He's getting around 8 points a game, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. Not bad numbers, but for a player of his talent, you have to think he can do more.
Yeah, and talking to his coach, this team expects more from you. And that's a good problem to have as a player. It means your team believes in your abilities.
And timeout called by Chris Finch. Coach is going to talk some things over with the team. Might be seeing something to adjust. The Jazz making a switch here. George is checked in. DiVincenzo finds Randall. Shoots over Markkanen. Second shot opportunity. Here's Gobert. And no good. Trying to use the glass.
Well, he's got the green light in that situation. They wanted him taking that shot, even if he didn't get it to go.
And didn't do anything fancy there, but didn't need to.
Nope, his only concern right now is getting the points on the board. And I don't mean style points.
Well, he's had it going offensively, helping them build this lead.
Jazz trail by 14. It's George on the wing. And there's another one for the Jazz.
A jumper with a nice high release. George was ready to attack the second he got the ball.
Oh, my goodness! What a play!
Well, that was unbelievable. Not many guys can do what Ant-Man just did.
Here's Collier, defended by DiVincenzo. Collier, that's good.
I mean, the number of points they've scored in the paint already here is eye-opening.
A shot by McDaniels, no good. For Utah, they've gone a perfect 4 of 4 since the second quarter began. Perfect from the field. So stand here, we have one of the bright young centers in the NBA, Walker Kessler.
Look, start with this with Walker Kessler, Kevin. A great rim protector. You're just not going to get layups with Walker Kessler on the floor. Then he's an outstanding offensive rebounder, and he's got great hands, which makes him very effective as a roll man in the pick and roll.
outside Markkanen. And he can't answer back. The three-pointer offline. Minnesota leading by 13. McDaniels with the ball. George picks him up. Randall no good.
That's not a bad shot at all. It just didn't go in. Sometimes the process is right, and you still get a bad result.
Kessler with the bucket.
They're finding lanes to the hoop now with consistency. 5 buckets in a row from the paint.
DiVincenzo passes to Randall. The three-pointers off the mark. For Utah, they've gone 6 of 8 from the field in the second quarter. Markkanen can't get it to go.
And what should have been a simple pass and finish ends up in a missed opportunity on that alley-oop attempt.
Yeah, that just comes down to the timing being off between those two guys.
Hard work and soft hands, guys. That's what made that play possible.
No simple offensive rebound there. Going for the tip-in. Three-pointer, Markkanen, and the three ball is good. Markkanen's got his first 3 points of the game.
Well, when the 7-footer Markkanen starts to hit from deep, I mean, what are you supposed to do as a...
That is a great finish!
Oh, my. Man, what a move by Edwards. That was phenomenal.
Utah moving it around. Markkanen missing again.
Well, you can tell he's forcing things a bit at the moment. He's been trying to get it going, but this hasn't been his quarter.
Gobert, and foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line.
Nice work to get it inside and draw the contact.
The Timberwolves shooting their first free throws of the evening.
And you really got to give them a ton of credit for what they've done at the free throw line this season. How about 82% as a unit?
To the middle. Here's Jackson, and Jackson throws it down hard.
And wait to finish and cut into that lead a little bit.
And look at the basket guy still shaking. Anthony Edwards has been leading the charge for the Timberwolves. And with his work in that quarter, he has 5 three-pointers in the game now. Quite a showing from long range. We'll get right back to the action when we return.
If you're shooting under 30% from 3, try to find another way to score, man. This is crazy, Shaq.
Yeah, being one-dimensional, they're...
Okay, guys, now let's see what the fans are buzzing about over on social media. Here's a good one. Shaq Can't Dunk 32 wants to know, how do you guys deal with internet trolls?
Well, first of all, that's the most ridiculous name I've ever seen.
I thought it was pretty good, actually.
Thank you for being with us. Now let's send it to Kevin Harlan for the second half tip.
And there wasn't too much drama in the first half, but maybe things will tighten up here in the second. You know, Anthony Edwards has been exceptional here, guys.
That first half looked like a dunk contest mixtape. Was just destroying the rim.
Well, they've got to build a wall immediately because he'll just keep attacking like that if they don't.
Jackson is out there with Kyle Filipowski. Then there's Markkanen. Then it's George, and it's Bailey in at the shooting guard. That's the 5 on the floor for the Jazz. George with the screen on Edwards. Bailey misses.
And that's the battle they haven't been winning today. Their work on the glass has been porous, and that's got to change.
Well, he's been nothing short of fantastic this game, and he has his team in a great spot as this thing winds down.
Here's Bailey. 2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul. It goes on Kyle Anderson.
And when I watch Ace Bailey, I see a wing with unlimited potential. Going forward, it's about refining that skill set and adding some strength to that frame.
Clark, he's checked in for Minnesota. Pass to Highland. And another 3 for Minnesota.
Ever since halftime, they've played precision basketball on the offensive end.
Well, the coaching staff made some adjustments for the second half, and they've come out with focus and execution.
Fires the 3. knocks down the 3-ball. Bailey's got 5.
And how can you not love this rookie? Bailey coming right back with a 3 of his own.
Highland misses.
Well, after 3 straight makes, that's their first miss of the half.
Here's George. Jackson has the open look. From downtown, a rebound by the Timberwolves. 17 points was their biggest margin.
Not a great start to the second half, just 1 for 4. Got to find ways to generate better looks here.
Jazz trail by 14. And now let's swing it over to Allie LaForce on the sideline.
Hey, Commissioner Silver talked about health, and he said that some of the injuries that our young players are experiencing are overuse injuries. In earlier eras, players in school participated in different sports depending on the season. He said perhaps a return to that approach is warranted. Back to you, Kevin.
Interesting thought. Okay, Allie, we thank you.
And he got loose from the 3-point range in the first half and showing signs here that he's still got the flow in the second.
And the Jazz call time here. Minnesota making a switch. Phillips has checked in. This break gives us the chance to see which teams have been the most successful in the transition game this month. The Timberwolves second.
I mean, they have really hit their stride in terms of that transition game. No doubt about it. They are playing at a great pace.
Not quite 2.5 minutes played here in the second half. Outside for Jackson. George looking over the floor. Another miss by Utah.
A slight rebound advantage for them. One more column in their favor, and it's all adding up.
Anderson passes to Edwards. And here's Reed. 5 to shoot. Tries again. Edwards can't hit. Jazz trail by 17. Pass to Filipowski. Outside, Markkanen. Another miss by Utah. And so it's Highland with it. He brings it up for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Since halftime, they've only allowed 5 points.
The ball movement on this run has been fantastic and is a big part of why they've been able to get these good looks. And he didn't punish them for the weak coverage there, but they can't count on him to continue missing.
For 3, Edwards. And again, Minnesota with the triple.
Their ability, again, to stretch the floor, particularly in this second half.
Yeah, and where has the defense been? They've been content to let them fire away. They've got to close out to the arc.
Both teams running perimeter-oriented plays that are working.
Well, you know, it's become a 3-point shooting lead. Teams shooting a steady diet from outside.
So Utah ends up going with the new group. It's Edwards on the wing. Drills the 3-pointer. Edwards got 43 points.
That's a dozen straight points coming off the triple.
It's stolen by DiVincenzo. Pulls up. And again, it's Minnesota.
Assists like that have typified their effort today. Terrific ball movement.
A challenging stretch here for Utah. Here's Collier. Shoots over DiVincenzo. And that one, good. Kessler's got 8 points.
Well, you want Kessler involved in the offense. That's the kind of shot you're looking for.
Edwards drives in. Kessler with the rebound. Kessler's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight. 3 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. Here's Collier. Off the mark there with the 3-point shot.
They have been board dominant in this game. That's definitely been a factor in crafting this huge lead.
Edwards, good.
Yeah, he's in such a great rhythm right now. Makes sense to get him the ball any way you can.
Yeah, when you have a guy playing like he has been recently, he's got to be the first option on every possession.
And with the fourth quarter upon us, time is running out for this game to become competitive. And for the Jazz, they're shooting a respectable 47% for the field in this one. And a look at the 5 for the Timberwolves to start the fourth. The wingmen, Edwards and McDaniel. The big men on the floor for him, Randall and Gobert. And it's DiVincenzo in at the point. 4 on the clock. Sends the ball, no good. Timberwolves shooting an impressive 65%, having their way with this defense. Edwards kicks to Randall. Now here's DiVincenzo. He's tightly guarded. Good on the three-point shot. Randall's got the fourth quarter going with the first basket of the period here for the Timberwolves. Randall's gone 2 for 3 from deep. Driving the lane. Nobody near Williams. Tried to answer back, but that 3 is off the mark. Here's Edwards. And Edwards slams it in.
And they're getting points. They're getting stops. And this is how they'd like to play all the time.
Great example of how to build a lead and then sustain it. You win games on both ends of the floor.
Minnesota with the ball. Here in the fourth quarter, their defense has been very strong, allowing no baskets. And you look at the G League's impact on player development, Greg, it's become very significant.
And I think the two-way contract was a great addition as well, allowing players to contribute with the big league team while also developing in the G League. What a great combination.
The Jazz making a switch here. George is checked in. Minnesota also with the sub. Conley's checked in. Here's Kessler. And foul on the shot. He'll shoot 2 at the free throw line.
And Kessler is just a steady, reliable big man because he shoots a good percentage and defends the rim well.
Jackson, he's checked in for Utah. Bailey comes in for Collier. And he can't hit the second.
Well, where Kessler is elite is on the boards, and he's an excellent rim protector. Those 2 things alone will earn you minutes. Don't even try to defend that. What a move, Julius Randle.
And that great replay brought to us by the AT&T Connected Cam. Bailey, the shot good on the assist by George. And it's 8 points for Ace Bailey.
Well, when you have a scorer as skilled as he is, you do everything you can to get him the looks he needs.
Kept alive, Minnesota. Pass to DiVincenzo. Here's McDaniels. Rebounded by the Jazz. Kessler's got rebound number 5 here tonight. Here's Markkanen. And Markkanen throws it down.
So good to see Markkanen using force on his finish.
And it's Conley with the ball for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now here's McDaniel. Shot is good off the back rim and in.
Another good play. This is how they built the lead, calling on the right guys at the right time.
Yeah, come on. They're just having their way out there and continuing to press the advantage. Well, he's trying to shoot his way out of it from distance, but look, he's got to find something easier.
The 3 for DiVincenzo. Nailed from three-point land.
Great positioning. DiVincenzo stays ready to fire the moment he gets the ball.
And Kessler throws it down.
Flying high and throwing it down with the one hand.
One of his favorite moves right there, guys. Conley kicks to DiVincenzo. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. A nice shot by McDaniel.
Well, huge night from McDaniels. With the defense he brings you, the scoring is a massive plus.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it. Just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for the Timberwolves.
You don't see this kind of a blowout often, but tonight this is a quality win across the board to deliver out this kind of punishment.
They definitely never changed the approach. They just kept after it and showed they were clearly the better team in just about every single category.
And so they'll be advancing their win total to 42 games.
And once they polish off this win, they'll be one more victory away from sweeping the season series.
And you know, looking back at all the contributions tonight, it was a really phenomenal all-around game for Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and I loved his attitude tonight. He really had that scorer's mentality. Absolutely no one was stopping him.
Outside, George. Kessler, screen on Conley. Down low, and Kessler throws it down.
Easy to see why Kessler has so much success. The guy plays full bore every night.
Here's McDaniels. Bangs home the trifecta.
Inspired tonight. They fought hard and at crucial points just made the plays.
Yeah, they saved their best basketball for this home stretch, and they certainly earned this one.
Conley gets the bucket.
They just blocked out the noise, kept on grinding, and this is their reward.
It is always a special feeling winning on the road. The degree of difficulty adding to that sense of accomplishment.
And so it's the Timberwolves taking care of business here. This crowd was stunned by the manner in which their team was dismantled.
You know what? I don't care what the matchup is. You never expect a road team to come in and just cruise to the kind of win they did tonight.
And that about wraps it up. Here with Stan Van Gundy, Greg Anthony, and Allie LaForce, I'm Kevin Harlan, signing off for this presentation of NBA basketball.